Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Cross GT Racing My Team Career Mode journey here in F1 23. We're heading into round 5, so we've made ourselves comfortable in the competition now. So we're heading on to, I do believe it's the Spanish Grand Prix, I think. Obviously we'll see in a moment, but let's take a look back at the previous round. Round 4 in Imola was a massive race for us. We managed to get P1 in qualifying. We had a huge lap. I think it was I can't remember how big the gap was, but it was quite a sizable gap to give us P1 in Q3. And then from there we kind of just used that track position and piggybacked off the front runners using the slipstream, the DRS, and also sort of getting the elbows out a little bit during the race to try and keep the other racers behind us. And we ended up coming in a tidy P5, which is huge for us considering this is only our fourth race in not only in the season but in the career of the team. The life of the team is only 4 races long, and we're already up the top. As we take a look, we did a right there cuts off in the highlight reel, but that second to last corner, well, I guess it's technically the third to last corner before the finish line, we managed to overtake Verstappen right there, a really tidy move up the inside to claim P5, not only giving us some good points in the drivers' standings, but boosting our team up in position to P6 in the constructors, and Red Bull losing out quite a bit there. Verstappen is now P2 in the drivers' championship by a single point to Lewis Hamilton, and they've also dropped down to P2 in the constructors behind Mercedes. So massive turnaround there for a lot of teams and drivers in that last race. But it's only round 4. We're getting ready for round 5, taking a look through what we can do in terms of development, little durability upgrade that we're going to work on there. We are at some point going to need to work on getting Spec 2 department so that we can start getting more upgrades. There's a couple upgrades right there. A nice wing mirror upgrade for the Aero team, which is great. We can look at upgrading what was that, floor stiffening something. But that was a massive discount, 77%. So we've still got a ton of development points, 988 still that we can use. Chassis, we're boosting through the chassis upgrades, which is great because it makes the car lighter and faster. So that really helps us out. Spark plug upgrade there for the powertrain. So it's all starting to happen now, and now we can get ourselves another sponsor on the team. A little extra cash into the pocket each week, and if we can hit that goal bonus as well, there's even more money on the race weekends that will help us out moving forward. We're going to go with OPAC or OPAC, however you pronounce that. Basically, I feel like that's probably the best one for us. I reckon we could get more points than the team directly above us in the vehicle comparison. I guess technically, like, we've got the best powertrain or power unit in the field, but overall our car's not that flash. Like, the powertrain really helps us out in terms of getting those points and getting ahead, but overall it's not that great. So we should be able to get enough points to get ahead of the team above us. Cover all of the driver perks we're going to upgrade because we've got some leftover cash and we're going to use that. And we also had a quick look just before at some of the other drivers, some of the other free agents, because we're going to have to look at who we want to bring into the team later on. Quick little chassis department event happening there. But yeah, we are going to be focusing, looking ahead to see who we want to bring into the team, whether we want to keep Enzo on, or whether we want to look at someone else, not just for, like, in terms of performance, because he hasn't really been performing that well, but also he's going to be worth more money, so maybe we need to look at a cheaper driver at this point, just because I do really want to try and keep building up the money for the team as opposed to throwing all the money into a driver early on in the series. But you know, with a lot of good work going on in the facilities behind the scenes, we've now got another sponsor, more money coming through. We've got some upgrades coming in. We've got a lot of resources coming through, so everything's looking pretty good. Practice went pretty well. Got all of the a whole bunch of discounts, a whole bunch of resource points. Everything's looking great. Team claim level 10, awesome for us. Getting ready for qualifying now here at the Spanish Grand Prix. Driver all ready to go. Now we've had to change a whole bunch of the components for the car for this race. The other ones are getting pretty worn out, so we have chosen to change them all, or most, you know, all the ones that we can use 4 units for throughout the season. We're changing all of them. You know, we're now into round 5, so we've gone about as far as we really need to those other parts. Might as well get the new bits on now. Maybe that'll give us a bit of an edge over the people here today, the rest of the teams, rest of the drivers. But we'll have to wait and see, because maybe the other teams will be having the same idea, get all fresh parts on now. You know, because it's a 16 race season, so 4 races per part, other than the control electronics and the power. I can't remember the other one was, the energy store. I think you only get 2. So, or maybe it was the gearbox. I'm not sure. But yeah, so we've put some new parts on, and already the car feels pretty good. Just out of that first sector, I'm feeling really good about the way that the car's handling. It just feels that little bit more responsive, I guess, which you would expect when you've got brand new parts in the car. The other bits were, I think some of them were up to like 70% wear, so we weren't getting much out of them. At this point in practice, we were getting enough, but it wasn't amazing. Crossed the line in P1 with P5 here in P1, in Q1, sorry. Q1, we do end up dropping to P7, but that one lap was all we needed, really. After that one lap, I figured might as well save our tyres and our components, engine components, as much as possible. I didn't really think we'd be beaten by another, 11 races to be relegated in Q1. So that was cool for us. Straight into Q2. Same strategy we have been doing for the last few races, where we kind of let everyone else go out first, get some laps in, and then we go out when the track is clear, and also once the track sort of rub it in a bit, so we get a little bit more grip in our first run out. And it's feeling pretty good so far. I'm quite happy with this one. It's, you know, it feels quite good, relatively similar to the lap we did in Q1. Did quite a few laps in practice to try and get you know, a good feel for the track. That last part of the lap has obviously changed since F121. No more chicane at the end, and our lap is good enough for P6, so we've made it through to Q3 again. We're definitely pushing above our weight. I did take some extra time in the time trial to just sort of get a better idea of what difficulty I needed the game to be on for this race. I felt maybe the race in Imola, the difficulty was a little bit low. But I did the same sort of thing in the time trial, a few extra laps, got a good average lap time, and yeah, the calculator I used spat out the difficulty that we're using at the moment. Of course, qualifying is different to the race. When you're on the track by yourself, it's a bit easier to navigate, you know, when you're not having to try and maneuver around other drivers. So not exactly the greatest indication of our race pace as we cross the finish line, and our time is only good enough for P9 there. So we head back, we carry on straight into a second lap, but as you can see, we are way off the pace there, 8 tenths off Lewis Hamilton and P1 there. We do manage to stay ahead of Lance Stroll though. We were about 6.5 tenths faster than him, but he's way off the pace compared to everyone else. We're only a tenth and a half behind Perez. So the Red Bull, well, I say the Red Bull, it's really just Perez not performing overly well. But it does put us in a really good position. P9 starting off this race as we head off to race day.
So many eventful races here in Barcelona over the years. Do you remember Max Verstappen's first win on debut for Red Bull here in 2016? 2 years before, we had the dramatic coming together of Hamilton and Rosberg going towards turn 4. There's always a treat in store as we head back to the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya for the Spanish Grand Prix. It's an updated track at Catalunya, and we welcome the removal of the chicane in the final sector, shortening lap times and reducing the total running to 2.9 miles and 14 turns. This was actually the original setup for the track, but it hasn't been used since 2007. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Russell, Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, Norris, Perez, the captain, Stroll, Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Magnussen, Hülkenberg, Tsunoda, Albon, Bottas, Ocon, Joe, Sargent, Fittipaldi, and Nick de Vries. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. Joining me on this very wet day is a woman who very much came prepared. Nice wellies there, Nats. Natalie Pinkham, how would you say the wet weather experience differs between Formula One and perhaps some other forms of racing?
Mastering these conditions is a massive challenge. To cross the line in one piece is no mean feat, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how they handle it.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
Well, that is the idea. I don't know if we'll be able to get as good a position in this race as we did in the last race, but we will do what we can. The rain is starting to come down, but strategy still calls for dry tyres. There's quite a lot of water coming down as we are off and away for the Spanish Grand Prix. A really bad start from the two McLarens there. I don't know what happened to Piastri, but he fell way behind, and we've had a massive start to this race. We're now right up behind Verstappen. We've jumped up into P5, looking to go around the outside. Oh, we can't quite get there. Around the inside we do, I don't think there was contact there. We do end up sort of giving Leclerc a little bit, getting the elbows out a little bit with him. And we've managed to go from P9 to P4 off the start. As we take a look at the start here, we're on board with Piastri right now, and I don't know what happened there, but he just had a really, really poor start there. And he's held up all the cars behind him. Norris didn't have a great start either. So I don't know if maybe it's an issue with their car at the moment, or if that was just a coincidence and both drivers kind of had a really lackluster start. But we're going to take that. P4, Leclerc and Russell, back at it again. Their little grudge match from Imola is carrying on here in Spain. So it's... hopefully they can hold each other up, although it does look like Russell's just breezed past, never mind. We're looking to go back up the inside, but we just don't have the position or the pace there. And I really don't want to take chances with the track starting to get quite wet. It's interesting that with all of this water coming down, the strategy still called for soft tyres. Well, not soft tyres, I mean dry tyres. But it's everyone. You know, a lot of the field, you know, are on hards, so maybe they're trying to push further into this race. A little bit of a slide there, so the track is getting wet, but you know, I don't know if I should end up making the change to Inters, as the car just doesn't want to handle very well. You know, at this point, you know, the Inters might be a good option, but everyone's on dry tyres, you know, which means that there must be more pace out there on dries than on Inters. As we take a look at the front of the pack here, Lewis Hamilton, and I do believe that's Carlos Sainz, in the Ferrari. Yep, that's the Ferrari. Carlos Sainz going around the inside of turn 1, trying to get around the outside of Hamilton, and he does so. Pushes his way past the 7-time world champion to take P1 here. Only 3 this is only lap 3. We're only 2 laps down, so there's still quite a ways to go. But Sainz putting the moves on the Mercedes driver there. Oh no, it wasn't even. Oh no, it was too. Never mind. I just looked up at the position standings and got mixed up there. Russell's in P4, Verstappen P3. He was in the picture there, so he is sticking with them as we go wide through that high-speed right-hander into this long DRS straight. And the car's just, it feels too wet to be on dry. There's a big slide there. But we're only at lap 3. If I go into the inters now, I don't think they're going to last another like 20 laps and get us to the end. Carlos Sainz a 1:23.6, so the pace isn't really there in the dries, but I don't know if it's going to be there in the inters either. And we're being followed by Leclerc, who's got DRS, and Alonso behind him is looking to make a move on both of us. Breezes past on those soft compound tyres, and oh, we're still side by side with him. We managed to hold on to that position. I thought Alonso was going to take that there, but we managed to stay ahead. A little bit of a slide there as we, got on the power a little bit early to try and stay ahead. But we just end up going wide at the next corner, and Alonso just, takes that opportunity and says, see you later. And he is now up into P5. We're P6, so we're still, we're still in the points. We're still ahead of where we started, which is the main thing, thanks to the McLaren mishap in the start of the race. But now maybe we can use this to our advantage. And hopefully Alonso, I was about to say hopefully Alonso can drag us along, but now he's pulled away. He's now a second and a half, almost 2 seconds ahead of us now. We're still ahead of Leclerc, but Leclerc's going to have DRS on us here. And he is closing quickly, and he is gone. He's past us. So it's not really our race at the moment, although in saying that, we're not really supposed to be up here. That's the thing, like these guys, the cars overall are better than ours on paper. We've got more speed. Well, we have a better powertrain unit, so we go really wide there. Almost open the door for Piastri. Norris just behind him. They're sort of just dragging each other along. But yeah, we're not handling this very well at all over the place. We just end up taking out one of the braking markers there. And it's just really not, it's just not our day today. 1:26.5 that lap. So, 3 seconds off.
At least 20 minutes of light rain. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Yeah, as I was saying, 3 seconds off the pace to Sainz's fastest lap. A big kick out there at the end, at the back of the car there. And as they just said, the dries are the fastest tyre on track at the moment. I'm not really sure where they're getting their information from, because the track is so wet that even on some of these easier corners, the car is starting to slide and kick out and everything. It's really not fun racing in these conditions. As Perez is looking to make a move on Lando Norris, gets up the inside of Piastri as well, gets on the power, and it looks like he's going to hold on there. So Perez making a move and overtaking both McLarens in the first couple of corners of this lap. Lap 8, we are in P7, so we've dropped down, what was that, a couple of positions. I think we were P4 off the start, I think. So we've dropped down about 3 positions from where we managed to get to at the start, but it's still 2 positions ahead of where we started as Perez looks to go around the outside. We managed to keep him out. We maintain P7, but it's probably only going to be a matter of time before he finds a gap, and maybe you find one right now as we go wide around the long left-hander, and now we've got an engine failure. How we've managed to get engine failure in this race? I've barely been pushing, and they're all new components. for, you know, I suppose for a team that's like just started off, doing so well, and now we've got an engine failure, our first one of the season, but it comes when we've just put new components in the car, which is so frustrating. If we had the chance to get onto Inters, maybe we would have done better in this race. But it looks like our very first retirement of our F1 career.
So as they climb out of the car, the Red Bull team are ready and waiting to celebrate a thoroughly deserved win. So Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
Well, they managed their tyres to absolute perfection. A tyre whisperer, in fact. And that is what set them apart.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
Well, there we have it. A pretty disappointing finish to our race today. 8 laps in, mechanical failure in the car. We just put on a whole bunch of new components. Hopefully, the silver lining is that one of the parts that failed isn't one of the new ones. Although that does mean that we're going to have to go quite a long way through the season on one component for the other 2 parts of the car that we didn't put new ones on for. But it also means we miss out on points this race. You know, we could have gone to the Inters. I wanted to go to the Inters and see what would have happened. But unfortunately we won't get the chance to now. Enzo gets P21, so just a really abysmal day for the team. Verstappen wins the race. Have to, you know, we do have to take a look at that. So Verstappen jumps back into the lead. Hamilton not on the podium today. Russell did get there. Russell and Leclerc carrying on their epic battle from the previous race, both on the podium after both being outside the podium. Don't know why I had a gap in between out and side, but outside the podium, managing to fight back to get P2 and P3. So Verstappen back on top of the driver's standings. Mercedes still at the top of the constructors though. It's only an 8-point lead now. I think it was a 13 or a 15-point lead after the last race. Did we take a look at what happened earlier? So yeah, I thought maybe it was just a random failure, not like a blown out engine part, but obviously it was all the smoke pouring out. Sucks to be I think that might have been, I think it was Piastri there, just getting a face full of smoke. But yeah, so frustrating end to the weekend, but we'll just move on to the next race. It's only the first season. We're looking to build the team up. Not looking for championships right now. Just frustrating. But, you know, it is what it is. Such is the life of an F1 driver. No money from the sponsors. Just have to look to the next race. Round 6. I do believe the Canadian Grand Prix. One of my favourites. So I'm looking forward to that. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And hopefully it'll be better in the next one. And I'll catch you guys all then.